Hey everybody. All right, well, it's been a while since I've built a real model, so I thought I would have a go at this. Now, this is the original series Shuttlecraft, and it comes from Cozmic Scale Models. It's a really small kit, but I think it's pretty cool. It comes with the figures, which I'm not going to use. I'm not really big on having figures on my models, but this looks like a really neat one. Now, this is a 3D printed resin kit. This is I'm guessing these are the instructions here. Um, Okay, let me see here. So this is where you're going to put the decal. So it's all the decal placement on here. I'm not sure how accurate this model is, but I just have always liked the original series Shuttlecraft. There's something about it. Oh, hey, we got some decals here, but there's something about the shape of it because it's a very very basic. Okay, so here we go. So it looks like you can go with different names here. You've got Columbus, Einstein. I'm going to go with Galileo, of course. You got the insignia and pennants on the side there for the nacelles, and then also on the side. So that's nice. I like it. All right, glad it comes with those. And let me see. So we got all this stuff in here. Let me see if I can get it out. Okay, so let's start with the shuttle itself. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so it's actually a pretty cool size. It's not like really huge. Boy, it's pretty light too, so I'm guessing it must be hollow. Let's get it out of here and take a look at it. Yeah, I like the classic series Enterprise Shuttlecraft. I just think it's so cool. All right, so here's what we got. So it looks like, yeah, it's 3D printed resin. It's hollow. I don't know if you can hear that sound, but it looks pretty good actually. Kind of interesting curve they got over here. Probably have to do some light sanding just to kind of smooth that down a little bit. Here's this side. This is all one piece, so that's nice. Here's the front. I'll just paint the windows black like I did on the larger scale one I did a video on. I don't remember what scale that was. It's from Polar Lights. That's an excellent shuttlecraft model. A little bit of indentation right here. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really real particular about my models, as far as like every detail's got to be right. I just, half the time I just kind of just slap them together only because, I just don't have the patience to do these models like I used to. You'll notice I've been doing a lot more building sets like Lego and stuff lately. You got the hatch here. I'll probably have to use panel line paint or something to bring out the hatch details. And there's even some down here. Here's the back. Guess there's some. I'm not sure. Guess hopefully there's some panels that go on here or something. Now I do have a display case, or I should say a display base coming for this, and it's a square piece of acrylic, probably about as big as this thing, the box, and it has the demarcations of the shuttle bay, and I'm going to have it sitting there. Normally, I like to build the shuttle with it where it looks like it's in flight, but I'm going to make this one so that it looks like it's landed, and so these are going to be the other parts. Okay. All right. Ooh, okay, that's pretty interesting. Let's take a look at these. Well, let me clear all this stuff out of the background so we can take a look at this. Okay, so I piled up all the parts here. So let's take a look at what we got. First of all, here is the figures. So let's see, is this the front or the back of them? It looks like, is that the back? No, that's the back of them right there. You can kind of see what that looks like. And here is the front. So they still got their supports on there. I'm not going to use these figures, but I'll keep them just in case I need them for something. But yeah, I don't usually like to put figures in my models or anything, although you can't put these inside because they are, it's a solid model, or at least it's built as one piece. These are the little side things that go on the side here. Looks like you got the markings right there on where they get glued onto. But there they are. It's kind of interesting. They even have like this. Oh, that's cool. They actually put the little girder kind of work on there. So I'll have to break all these supports off and just kind of sand it off. There should be two of these. So where's the other one? Right here. So here's what the other one looks like. Yeah, it looks like that's, yeah, I was trying to see if that was another piece right there. Okay, so there's those two. We got the little back vent thing right here. That's going to go on the back of the shuttlecraft right here. It's going to go on right like that. That's nice. I'll probably just paint the these inserts here white. Nothing lit up on the original filming model. So, you know, you don't have to light it up, which is good. I mean, you could if you wanted to, I suppose, but, you know, I'm not going to go through all that trouble. Here's the nacelles right there. Oh, okay, so they're just kind of hollow throughout that. Let's see, this is probably the one on the port side because it's got that step on it, I'm guessing. Oh, no, it's got this here, too. I'm not sure what that's for. I'll have to take a look at the instructions. Let's see, we got two. These are the clear domes. That's going to go on the front of the nacelles. Whichever way these are. I'll just kind of stick one in here. But yeah, that's going to be on the front there. The domes did not light up on the original series shuttle, so you don't have to worry about it. I don't know if I'm going to leave those clear, or maybe I'll just paint them white. I'll probably just paint them white, or maybe I'll sand them and make them look frosted. I'm not really sure. See, there should be two of those. Where's the other one? Well, it's probably still in the bag. Let me see. Well, I don't know where it's at. I'll have to find it. Probably dropped it, knowing me. These are the little ball things that go on the back of the nacelles. And those are silver. These are the little, I don't know what you call those, but the balls actually go in this. So I'm not sure if these are going to fit. I may have to sand all this down, but it's going to go in this hole. Oh yeah, like that. And this whole thing is silver on the ship. Boy, these parts are so tiny. There's a brass bar right here. I'm guessing that's part of the back landing gear. And let's see, this looks like, wow, these are tiny. These are the little landing gear that go underneath the front part of the nacelles. Wow, those are going to be interesting to try to put together. These are some kind of panels that go on the back. You know, I was looking at the back of this thing. Oh, well, maybe that's right. I don't know about this one. I do remember there was a panel over here. So I'm not sure about that detail. And that's usually like a red colored thing. But you do get these covers here. This is the back. This looks like it's, no, this is the back. There we go. That's the back landing strut. And I think that bar goes through here. I was kind of looking at this, the instructions there. So I don't know, I guess that's all of it. This is the back landing pad as well. All right, well, let me see if I can find that other clear dome, but I guess I'll start working on it. I think what I'm going to do is, once I sand this, I'll just put a coat or two of primer, and I'm just going to end up using the same colors that I used on that other model, the one that's from Polar Lights. I remember it was Insignia white that I used on the top. I don't remember what I used for the gray part on the bottom, but I'm just going to use those colors because I actually kind of like the way they look. I know they're not absolutely accurate, but close enough for me, and I'll be fine with that. All right, so let me get some preliminary work on this, and then I'll show you what I got going once I get that. All right, so I started working on this now. So let me see. I got the supports off of this, sanded everything down. I already painted these. I did all the primering and then painting. Here's the other strut right here. And then here's the back grill piece that goes on the back. And then I also went ahead and painted the nacelles. And then here is the main body. So I just kind of got this going. So I had to sand everything down. This is primer coat that's on here right now. And then I went ahead and painted the windows black and also this little vent, or these two vents on the front here. I went ahead and masked them, but I'm probably going to have to do some touch-ups on it. The scale of this is so small that it's going to be, you know, not perfect. I mean, you can see I couldn't quite get the masking exactly right on here either. But so the paint I'm using is the same ones that I used on the round 2 one. So for the darker gray color, I'm using the TS 81 Royal Light Gray, the Tamiya brand of paint. And then this one, for the lighter color, I'm using the AS20 Insignia White. So it's kind of like an off-white or a very, very light gray, which ends up looking like this. This is the one that I built. I did a video on this quite some time ago. You can see it. I think the colors look really good on this. So I have to zoom in because I'm on the other side of the room, but that's it. It's hanging on the ceiling with all my other models that I did in the past. So I'll go ahead and start painting the bottom of this first, the TS 81 color. I'll paint all this down here, and then I'm going to mask off any of the darker gray areas, and then I'll paint the rest of it with the insignia white. All right, well, hopefully this turns out good. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with painting the main body here. It actually turned out pretty good. Interestingly, the darker shade under here, even though it's the same shade I used on the larger model, it looks a lot lighter. Let me show you what I mean. So here you can see the bigger version, the one from Polar Lights, or I mean Round 2. And then here's the one I just did. But see the difference in the way they look? This one looks so much lighter than that one. It's weird, but it's the same color. I don't know if it's because it's just such a smaller scale, but it's really odd. I don't know. It's very strange. But oh well. I mean, it still shows up. You can still tell the difference between the two, so that's fine. So I really had to scramble to get all the outdoor painting done because we're having super cold weather this weekend. I mean, below zero at night and all that stuff, and single digits during the day. So I hate when we have cold snaps like this. So I really want to get all this done. So now that all of that's done, I can concentrate on painting all of this stuff. So all of this stuff is so small, I'm just going to hand paint it, all the caps on the ends of the nacelles and all that stuff. So I have all my paints ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put the landing gear on, like I said, because I did get my my base that I'll show you when I'm done with all of this. The base is really cool. It looks like the shuttle bay in the Enterprise. It's got the markings on the floor. And so now I can at least start working on all that. Here's all the masking tape that I had to go through. And then hopefully we can start putting some decals on pretty soon. Okay, so I think I got most of the small stuff painted, hopefully, because it is a lot of small stuff. So this right here is the landing gear. And then these are the little ball things that are sticking out at the back of the nacelles. And then let's see, that's the little struts, and I painted the little girder pieces silver right in there. So those are all done. This is the landing gear on the back. It's supposed to be brass. I don't have brass, so I'm just using gold. This is kind of an old gold paint, and it kind of has a brassish look. Definitely going to have to go to the hobby shop and get some fresh paint. Some of this stuff I've had for a long time. Let's see, back here, I did paint all that white, and then I went ahead and glued on that black vent piece on there, and I also glued in all these panels. I'm not really sure why they put this panel here on the left, because that's not actually on the shuttle, so I'm not sure why they included that detail. It looks like a vent or something, but that's actually not supposed to be there. But it's fine. I mean, you know, it's there. I'm not going to change it. Let me see. What other... Oh, I also got the little caps on the end all painted silver. All right, so I'm hoping that this is all the small stuff. Now I just got to start getting that. I think I'll use some panel line paint to bring out the details of that door on the side there. Okay, so I've been working on this thing for hours now. So I got most of it, actually all of it's pretty much put together. I got the nacelles put on here. Those look really good. Had to kind of shim those little connector points right in there. And then I noticed there's some holes down here, but oh well, I'm not going to worry about the bottom because you're not really going to see it anyway. But there is the nacelles. I got the landing gear on the front. I went ahead and lightly sanded these domes so that they have a frosted look to them. And then also, they're kind of, you have to kind of scrape the bottom of those so that they're more flush, because they're kind of almost rounded on the bottom, and because of that, they wouldn't fit quite right. So I had to kind of really scrape a lot of the material underneath to make those fit more flat. Then here's the back. And then I also got that red thing painted, and then I also got the back landing strut put on there. Now, I was going to, actually, I did panel line paint this door, but it just turned out to be a big mess. I was trying to wipe it all off, you know, my usual thing where you gloss coat it, put on the panel line paint, and then you wipe it off with lighter fluid, but I don't know, it just seems like it wouldn't wipe off properly, and then it ended up taking off some of the paint too, and I had to do some touch-ups on it, and now it looks kind of rough. So I ended up having to mask this whole section right here and repaint the whole thing. It was just a mess, and I tried using a Sharpie marker on it. It did have a little bit of a remnant of the Panaline paint in there, so it does kind of highlight it a little bit, but I decided it's just not important enough to deal with it. I used a Sharpie marker to get the windows in there. So I think we're ready to go now. I think all I got to do is the decals. So I'm going to be working on those now. I went ahead and gloss coated everything so it's shiny. I only really had to gloss coat the sides and the front and then the sides of the nacelles because that's where all of these decals are going to go. All right, so I'm almost done as soon as I get that all finished. Okay, here it is, all finished. Oh man, this thing is a very cool little model. This actually turned out pretty good. I kind of had my doubts at first when I first started working on this. When it comes to these 3D printed kits, whether they're resin or plastic or whatever, it's kind of hit or miss on how these are going to turn out, especially these resin ones. So at least we're past the days of these cast garage kits that you used to see. Those things used to be so bad and so horrible and required so much work that it was almost not worth it. These things are so much better. The 3D printing has come such a long way for modelers. But this thing is really cool. You can kind of see the scale, as you saw when I was building it. But it actually turned out pretty good. I'm satisfied with the colors on this. As I mentioned, um, it's kind of like a I don't know what you call it, like a eye of the beholder when it comes to what colors you're going to use for the shades of the white and or the gray colors on here. And so some people would debate, if this is correct or not. It's close enough for me. I do feel like that this was lighter than I wanted, this gray down here. And as I mentioned, I showed you the bigger size one that I built. I think that's a 132 scale from round two. That one turned out darker for some reason. This is the exact same color paint. It was that royal light gray, and I'm not really sure why it looks so much lighter on this, but maybe it's just because of the scale. It kind of maybe throws off the eye, the way you can see it. But this did turn out very nice. Now, these decals, they went on really good. I was actually surprised how good these decals are. Here, let me actually get a closer view of this so you can see it better. And I'll also talk more about this base. Okay, so let's start with the front here. So as you can see, the decals went on really nice. Now, I did almost lose this USS Enterprise one when I was putting it on because it started wrinkling on itself on both ends where the U and the E is. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought I was going to rip it. And I thought it was a goner. Thank goodness I was able to save it and manage to get it on there because I was very concerned that I was not going to be able to, salvage that. The windows, I just blacked them out because there's no interior to this model or anything. It's just pretty much it's hollow inside, but it's all one piece. And so I just masked those off and put some black paint in there. They're not perfectly painted. I'm not the world's best painter or modeler, to be honest with you. But I think I can get away with a certain amount of things on here. These once again went on. So I put a gloss coat on there so that the decals will stick on better. And then I put some Walther's Solvaset. That stuff is like a setting solution. It works so good on just getting the air bubbles out of there and making sure that the decals are on there nice. Even on smooth surfaces, I use it just because I feel like it's really kind of the best way to make sure that they go on. And then I put a dull coat on top of it to set the decals down. And then that way you don't get any silvering. So it works really good. That door, I told you about all the problems I had with it, but it actually turned out okay. It's shaded just enough that you can still see the details on it, but it's not overly done. So this decal here on the bottom, I was kind of thinking that it sits a little high on the nacelle. You can kind of see how if you look at it from this angle. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in focus here. I think it's the lighting of the room today. But it sits a little high on the nacelle. On the 132 scale one, I kind of put it more in the center, but you can see how it sits up high. But I had to go with what they had with the cutout for that step right there. See the little step? So I had to kind of go with that. And because of that, I had to put this one a little bit higher too, which I don't really necessarily like that it's sitting up higher, but I needed it to match what was on the other side. But, that's fine. These nacelle caps, I told you I just kind of put a very light sanding on them with a fine grit sandpaper just to kind of frost them up a little bit. You can just leave them clear if you want to. A lot of people light those up in the shuttle models, but I don't do that because it never lit up in the movie or in the TV show. You know, they never lit up. So that's kind of one of the good things. You don't have to really worry about lights. There's the back caps right there on the cells. And then back here, I really like the way this turned out, even though that vent right there is incorrect. I'm not really sure why they did it. Putting that little NCC 1701-7 was really hard to get that in there because it's in an awkward place, and you're trying to make sure you don't screw up the the decal in there. This back here, I just did the white like I showed earlier. And that piece, you have to sand the sides just a little bit to make that fit right. But it does, all the pieces fit really good. I mean, everything's made really nice. Same with this back landing arm back here, this big leg back here, that looks really cool. I think, after the big shuttle was restored, they actually had restored the original big life-size shuttle, even though it's not quite to scale. I think that's one of the few pieces that's original on it. They pretty much had to just gut the whole thing and build it from scratch, unfortunately. And I know some people that have original pieces of the shuttle. Man, I wish I could have gotten in on that. It would be cool to have a piece of the original shuttlecraft. And then here's the other side here. Once again, these went on really nice. No fighting with these decals except for that front one. And there's the Galileo. There's some inaccuracies, despite the fact that there's that vent back there, but also the roof. It should have right where this part is down here. The roof should go down further. It actually has like a sloping roof where it's steeper down at the bottom, and they didn't do that with this. But it's okay. At least they put the curve on the top. See that? When you think about the old, I think it was AMT that put the kits out when the show came out. That was the most inaccurate shuttlecraft model, and I remember building it, and I loved it as a kid because it was the only model that we had of it back then. This is very nice. I really like this thing. Let me see if I can reach over here and grab so we can look at the bottom. So I've shown you the bottom before. There's no decals or anything down here, but yeah, it turned out pretty decent. So this base, I also got this from Cozmic Scale Models as well, and it's just a plastic thing. Let me show you that in detail. So this base is actually made of a piece of plexiglass, and it's actually a very nice looking base. It's got all the same graphics as the shuttle bay in the Enterprise that the shuttlecraft sits on. So it's really nice the way they did it. It's it's a relatively thick piece that you can see right here, and on the back it's got this peel away stuff that you can peel it off. So Cozmic Scale Models also sells these bases that are it's like a square wood box, and it's got lighting in it, so you can make the bases light up, and they have different tops that you can put on there. Some of them look like the L cars for other kits, and I guess you could light this one up too. But on the show, I don't think that the spot where the shuttlecraft sat actually lit up. So that's why I just bought the plate itself. But it's a nice little piece that kind of goes along with that model. It fits the perfect size of it, and I think they have a larger size for this same design as well. All right. Well, I'm actually very pleased with the way this turned out. It's a cool little kit. When I first got it, I just wasn't really in the mood for building a model kit, and it just kind of sat around for a couple of weeks. And then when I finally kind of got the interest to build it, the weather turned really cold here, so I had to kind of scramble and get the painting I had to do outdoors, all the spray painting and stuff. I had to get that done. The rest of it, went together pretty good. It was only maybe 2 or 3 days that I worked on it. It's a relatively simple kit. I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of parts to it, but the devil is in the details as far as the paint. And the decals really make it nice. I mean, after you work on it for such a long time and you're looking at it plain, once you get those decals on there, it really makes this thing turn out really good. And it looks really nice. It's not 100% accurate, but it's good enough for me, and I think it's pretty nice. So Cozmic Scale Models is who makes the shuttlecraft and the base. The shuttlecraft is about, I'd say, $48.65 in dollars, because it's a UK company, so everything's in pounds. And then the base here is about $18-ish. I'd say somewhere about $18. But it's a nice little kit. So if you're interested in it, I'll put some links to both the shuttlecraft model and also the base, and then you can go check it out. If you feel like spending a couple days working on a little shuttlecraft, well, there you go. All right, well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like this sort of stuff. And in the meantime, I will see you on the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I always appreciate all of you out there, and I will see you on the next video. So thanks again, and have a good one.